Welcome to the Happy Disruptors Podcast. If you're a creative thinker with an unconventional approach to your industry, you just might be a happy disruptor. Join your friends at the Great Outdoors Foundation for honest conversations about tackling critical issues like conservation with an uncritical disposition. If you like to smile and get things done, this is the podcast for you.
Hello, and welcome back to the Happy Disruptors Podcast. I'm Kaitie.
And I'm Hannah.
And today we have with us the fabulous Molly Ms. Drizzle Hanson. Molly, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thanks. Hi, everyone. So I'm Molly Hanson. I work at RDG Planning and Design, and actually am a Des Moines and Iowa kid forever. So I'm still here. I kept thinking I would leave, and then I never did. So happy to be here.
We're glad to have you here.
So I feel like I have to call us out. You were like kind of a big deal soccer player too in your high school years.
So long ago.
Do you still play?
Tell us more.
No, I'm retired. I'm retired. My body thanks me for that. But yes, we played in Johnston, and our group brought the first pro coach over for Johnston Club back when none of us knew what we were doing. I think my dad checked out a book at the library about soccer to learn the rules.
That's amazing.
And we started when we were 6 and went all through club and high school and played some club at college. And then I think when I hit 30, I had to retire because my body decided it was time.
Yeah,
but
that's fair.
We love soccer at our house.
That's
So
fantastic.
you have been like a trailblazer in soccer, obviously, since you were 6.
Competitive edge, yes.
And I would say you are equally a trailblazer in conservation here in the Des Moines area. And you are leading the charge for Team Icon this year in the Wild Prairie Showdown. What makes you interested in competing, and why are you passionate about Icon water trails?
Oh man, I'm super excited to be part of the Wild Prairie Showdown this year. I've attended, I think, every single one that we've had. So being on the stage will be a new perspective for the event. But my love for Icon water trails is multifaceted. I like to get out and paddle myself, so I use our water trails here in Iowa pretty regularly. Professionally, we get to help work on the Icon project. So people much smarter than me are helping to design some upland and in-river amenities at the future locations. And so watching that progress from a construction side is fascinating. I think another way is just I love being on the river because it's just a new perspective to see your community from. You know, when you get out and paddle and you're on the river, you're kind of looking back at your home from a totally different perspective. So I love that.
So what would be your favorite trail to paddle?
Oh, that's such a good question.
I'm like asking the hard questions
That's
early.
such a good question. I'll probably have to give multiple answers. So I worked in Madison County for a while, and the Middle River Water Trail, when it has enough water, which I'm sure it does right now, that you start at the Roseman Covered Bridge and paddle into Pamel Park in Winterset is like one of my favorite paddles. Gorgeous, pretty easy for beginners. You get to end up at the park. So that's a really good one. I went to canoe school with the DNR, and we learned on the Boone.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
And like the high level Boone. And so that was like very fast and very I was in a canoe with my boss, and I was like, do not tip this man into this cold river right now.
It would have been a good story.
The pressure was on, but we learned how to paddle in that one. So that was a really good one. And then I love going out to the White Rock Conservancy in Coon Rapids, and the trails that go through there are just gorgeous.
Yeah. I mean, I think White Rock is probably one of the best things that we have in the state.
It is. It's like a hidden gem. You want to tell people about it, but you also don't. Shout out to Kate out at the White Rock Conservancy. It is darkest skies in Iowa, great camping, great paddling. It's just gorgeous.
Yeah. I love it.
Molly, you have already kind of segued into our next question, which is obviously conservation and recreation are a part of your life professionally and personally. How did you cultivate the conservation ethic in your life, and how do you see that related to recreation?
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned soccer because I grew up on soccer fields, which is not a lot of nature. But it's outside time, and I was lucky enough. My dad took me to summer camp at Boone YMCA camp over on the Boone River, and that was my first real taste of like freedom and nature and the woods and the river, which I really enjoyed. But it wasn't until college. We didn't grow up in a really outdoorsy. I am the outdoorsy member of my family, and tagged along with friends in college and kind of learned how to camp and what gear you need and that kind of stuff. And then, lucky enough to have professors who took me under their wing, and I discovered, that conservation could be a job, like being outside and sharing that with people. So, I went to University of Northern Iowa, and that's in Black Hawk County. Got my first internship with the Black Hawk County Conservation Board.
Which is like a great one.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And
it's great there.
We were in the Hartman Reserve Nature Center, just outside of George Wythe State Park. Amazing trails, amazing rivers. And I didn't know that was a job. And then I was, leading hikes in the woods and taking care of animals and helping out with the Maple Syrup Pancake Festival. And
amazing.
Never looked back. Yeah.
And that was peak, right?
Yeah,
it was. And, conservation through our county conservation board system is just so incredible. So, we have 99 counties in Iowa. Almost all of them have a conservation board. Almost all of them have parks and public lands that people can go out and use and enjoy. And that environmental education aspect, right? Like, teaching people or guiding them on a hike or, just showing them, unique animals to Iowa or things like that is just like, it's so fun. And then it also, gets people outside and more comfortable, trying new things.
Okay, you brought up unique animals, and I feel like we have to give Higgins a little bit of a spotlight. Can you tell us about the mussel that made an appearance in your Wild Prairie Showdown video?
Yes. So my sidekick, Higgins, who's named after the Higgins eye mussel, which is making a comeback in Iowa, even though it was quite endangered and threatened for quite some time, is a great example of why water trails are so important. We actually do have, mussel, like native wild mussels in Iowa, especially in our bigger rivers, which we're lucky to have here in Des Moines. And they're filter feeders. So you really have to have decent water in order for them to be found. And one of the things that some of our old Des Moines river rats used to do was like a mussel count. Like they'd do a mussel survey when things were really low. They'd actually get out and see how many they could find. And so Higgins seems like a good mascot for what we're trying to do. All things environmental education in rivers.
Yeah, love it.
Maybe we should bring that back, the mussel count.
Absolutely.
We need less water a little bit. It'll have to go down a little bit. But I think it really was a good indicator. And it was like, how many species can you find? How many numbers can you find? And again, once Water Trails Project moves forward, it's when we mitigate those dams, even more species show up, right?
Yeah.
So we've seen like Manchester's small dam mitigation compared to what we're doing in Des Moines. Within the first year or two, 8 new fish species were found,
Really?
Because
I did not know that.
we don't have jumping fish in Iowa, right? So they can't get over dams when you move those out and kind of restore it to a more like natural floodplain, natural flow. The biology just like takes over and is like, great. Yeah, this is what we want. And, healthy rivers, new animals.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's super cool. I did not know that. Amazing.
So you kind of touched on this a little bit. Certainly at the Great Outdoors Foundation, we were built on recreation as a catalyst. Do you see recreation as a catalyst, and how do you see it in action?
100%. I think, I got my start in environmental education. I think the best thing we can do is like take people out with us to go show them the things we love, right? And so recreation is a great way to do that. You want to give people a positive experience with the resource. And so, recreation is the fun stuff, right? I mean, not everyone loves a good hard hike through the woods or right, like, or digging up mussels out of out of the water. You got to ease them into that. So recreation is great because it's the dip your toe in approach. It's whatever you're comfortable with. We say that it's like the 80-20 rule, like anything we build, 20% of people are going to be out in it enjoying it, but like 80% could be adjacent. They might be like sipping a beverage on a patio, watching someone do something, but they're still connected to the thing that's happening, right? And so I'm going to try and say this, but it has a lot of R's, and I'm going to mess it up. But recreation is a catalyst for rural revitalization. Yeah. And we see that in our county system all over the place, right? When we have water trails, when we have great hiking trails, biking trails, even, nature centers that are fun to go to, or nature playgrounds that kids can play on, it makes people want to be in those places. And so, as we, especially in Iowa, in rural communities, it's a way to show off the natural beauty of places that maybe aren't quite as obvious. Yeah. And so if you can get people out and playing in them and enjoying them and seeing them from different perspectives, that's, if you can give somebody a positive experience with a resource, you're on the way to creating a future steward of the land, right? Like, you can't make people care about things, but man, if you can get them out on the river in a 75-degree day and it's sunny and like the scenery is gorgeous and nobody falls in the water unless they really want to, right? Like, and then you move on from that. And I think it also is a really good way, not just for kids, for all of us, to really like hone your skills and get better and get braver. Like, not everybody is gonna hike the Pacific Crest Trail, right? Or like these really hardcore things that we think about. I've got friends who want to go backpack out on the Apostle Islands and things like that. But there's a lot of great nature here in Iowa that you can learn great skills. You can learn how to camp. You can learn how to paddle. You can learn how to fish. And building up those skills in a place like this really, gives you the confidence to go do it in other places, or realize how important those resources are because you had such a great time, experience, family bonding, whatever, that you're like, well, we should care about this. We should take care of it. And so that's the secret evil plan of environmental education is like, if we take them out and show them a good time, eventually they're going to want to protect it and care about it and support, take care of it for the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said.
I think the building the confidence is something that sometimes gets overlooked. I mean, it builds confidence too in just like daily activities.
Totally.
You take kids out, you go hiking, you teach them not to be afraid of nature, you teach them what to look out for, and you see that translate in other parts of their lives. And I think with people are worried about screens and all of these things. Give them the confidence to go explore outside. It's great. So well said.
You're so right. Because I think that's the other thing too is, I go hike all the time just because now I'm a seasoned hiker. And I'm out there in, the barren winter, right? But even if it's just getting out to walk or explore trails, we're lucky. We have a great system here in Iowa that's really navigable. And I have had women especially say, like, I'm a little nervous to hike in the woods by myself, like, what do I, but it's like, take a friend, or borrow a dog or, I mean, anything that like makes you feel comfortable doing it because, like that just positivity and confidence and just your ability to go out and like work hard and accomplish something, like, it translates into everything. And you're calmer for it, right? Because you just hiked in the woods.
Right. And you have that like natural serotonin, burst and all the things.
Yeah, lots of benefits of being outside. And you have already talked about several of your favorite outdoor recreation activities, but like tell us a perfect day for Molly Hanson outside.
I'm lucky. I get to get out quite a bit, and I have a lot of other nature lovers in my life. One thing I got to do recently that I don't think anything beats, after a long day of outside time, whatever that is, you're tired, you've worked hard, you've worked your body, you've got some sun, like sitting around a fire circle with a group of women and just kind of decompressing, talking about your day, talking about your life, talking about nothing, books you're reading. I think that level of like community and like communing in nature is like one of the greatest things that could ever happen. So my friends own a company called Wander Women, and that's like their whole mission. You know, it's like, A, give people the confidence to get out and learn these skills. B, you know, have like-minded people who want to get out and like explore with you. But then at the end of the day, you know, you have someone to sit around and like tell stories with and things. So I think, you know, I love to hike. I love to paddle in my kayak. I love camping, you know, like in a tent on the ground, not showering for several days, like the whole just kind of really unplugging. Because I think it takes us, most of us, a few days to really like feel disconnected. But man, yeah, if you can spend, you know, 4 or 5, 6 days camping, hiking, paddling, getting dirty, it's like the reset for your nervous system that can't be beat.
Shout out to Wander Woman.
Shout out to Wander Woman.
Check them out. We'll have them on sometime.
Absolutely.
They have great programming no matter what your ability is. And it is a real, like, it builds community, no doubt.
So. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. That relates so naturally to like the mission of Icon Water Trails and the goal of, you know, creating, whether it's a comfort level of just sitting by the water and listening to the water, watching the water, bird watching, creek walking or tubing or paddling or eventually someday surfing or whitewater rafting. Like that is a really cool spectrum that pretty much anyone can find themselves on, which I think is kind of a unique goal.
I think so too. I think if we can make sure that everybody kind of like, knows how to swim and has their basic safety things. And then it really is a literal dip your toe in approach, right? Like whatever you're comfortable with, because we have so many rivers and streams in Iowa. You know, I don't know how old we are, but I think most of us probably like remember stomping around in a creek growing up, you know, like it was just a very natural thing you did when you were out at your friends' houses or whatever. And with these big rivers through downtown, it probably feels a little more intimidating. But, you know, as humans, like we love water, we're attracted to water. We're curious. We want to touch it. We want to get near it. We've seen the different amenities in Des Moines that have popped up along the river that are so lovely. I just took a quick walk over by the Asian Gardens just because it was so nice. And they've added those trails that you can walk along the river. And not to mention our great bike trail system. I think this is just that next piece, right? That extended, when we think of Central Iowa trails, we want people to think of water trails as like part of that system, because then you just have more options of fun things to do. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we could have like the Des Moines Triathlon, outdoor rec triathlon, where it's like paddling, biking, and then I don't know, hiking.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it really is. I think once it's just learning where all the trails are and where you can get on and what you know, like once we've trained everybody to just kind of know how to do it, I agree. I think the sky's the limit on just like, you know, do you want to dip your toe in and eat some ice cream by the river? Like there's some, you can do that. Do you want to, you know, put on a helmet and play in some whitewater? Like we've got that for you too. So I think it's cool. Previously, I worked for Iowa Rivers Revival, and we worked on, you know, rivers and stream issues all over Iowa. And they used to say that excluding the Missouri and the Mississippi, the big boys on the edge, you know, we had like 70,000 miles of interior rivers and streams in Iowa. Wow. And so like we're the river state, you know, but like nobody knows. Yeah. So I think, you know, if we can like embrace that and get back to it, there's so much. I mean, there's so much available.
Yeah, that's a lot of shoreline.
That is. Yeah, I don't think I've heard that statistic before. That's amazing.
So we're gearing up for the Wild Prairie Showdown, which is the fundraiser competition between Icon and GOF where everyone wins. Yes. But you're in competition.
It's true.
And you're in competition against John Callan. So this is like your time to tell listeners why they should support Molly for MVP.
Yeah. Yes, everyone do it. Do it, support Team Icon. I think I think we're at a really interesting time for both the projects that we're doing, some for people who have been, paying attention to what's going on with Central Iowa Water Trails. There are some great new access points, in Johnston and over at Raccoon River and things that have just started to evolve. We've seen new ways to get out and recreate at like Easter Lake and the big projects that have been going on there. So, paddle sports are growing everywhere, but it's cool to see them really growing in Iowa, in a place that maybe wouldn't traditionally be known for that. And so, we've got great water trails all over our state, but to be able to really enhance and bring them, right through literally the downtown of our capital city, to activate that and get people out, it's an opportunity for a whole rebrand for Des Moines. It's a new identity for our city. It's new opportunities for, people who want to play, but also, the businesses and the, anyone else who can benefit from just like these cool new opportunities. So, I think everyone should be supporting Team Icon. I mean, if you don't want to dive headfirst in the river right away, that's okay. I think we'll get you there. But this is, even you think about the Des Moines flag, right? Those are bridges going over our rivers. Everything about this is our identity. So having grown up here, having seen how much Des Moines changed over the years, how much how important it is, I think, and we all need it, right? Like more opportunities to get out and play and enjoy our city. Do yourself a favor and support Team Icon so that we can have these awesome things in our city for everyone to enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing that I love about Icon is, yes, we absolutely have these really incredible downtown whitewater attractions, but to your earlier point, Molly, people won't be necessarily just getting in downtown Des Moines and only spending their time there. They're actually coming in from, far west on the Raccoon and paddling in. And now with the Lowhead Dam mitigation, we'll be able to paddle that entire stretch. I mean, that starts to really bring together the regionalism and the entire network of water trails, which is cool to see.
It really is. I grew up in Johnston and we're doing a project out there right now. And just the idea that like once we get things, you could get on in Johnston, and just head on down, and hit some different spots along the way and, end up downtown, right? And which like was inconceivable, only 10 years ago probably. Yeah. So it's wild.
Yeah, it totally makes it an adventure in your own backyard, right? I mean, that's what I'm a cyclist. I love cycling because I get to try all these different towns, get to experience them, their favorite, their, jewel of their restaurant, see all the different communities along the way, and to do it from a creek or a river, to your point, it's a totally different view.
It is.
And Johnston especially, it's like you can feel like you're in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
And then get off and have like a great restaurant, or a great like bar right there. And Johnston's done so well redeveloping that area and making natural amenities part of that plan. So yeah, the adventure of it all, it's going to be fun.
It is. Exciting. When we first scouted that stretch that would start at Beaver Creek, I mean, it was, we were only imagining it. So we jumped the curb, walked through the cornfield, threw the boats in and then pulled out at the Quick Trip, and we're like, okay, now imagine that there are like boat ramps and like
you're
things
meant to be
that would
here.
make this easier, and even that day we had a blast in there, so it was just like seeing how far it's come and then the potential of all these other spaces, and what it means for truly like, environmental education isn't just for kids, it's for all of us to learn new things and kind of experience our home in a different way. But you just think about the kids that are going to get to kind of see their community for the first time from those perspectives. And how awesome is that?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
absolutely
incredible.
Can't beat it. Well, Molly, I'm so glad that you were able to come on today. I loved our conversation. Is there any final thoughts you want to leave our listeners with, or anything you'd like to add about our discussion on conservation and recreation?
I think Iowa is just such a special place for so many reasons. And I think it's a flyover state to a lot of people. And so I think some of the things that, we love the most about it are kind of these little hidden gems, these off the beaten path, these, like White Rock, you got to get out and find it kind of a thing. And public land is just, it's so important. It's public, it's for everyone. And in Iowa, we don't have as much as other places do. People say like, oh, we don't have mountains or we don't have beaches or whatever, but we have 70,000 miles of rivers and streams, and we have, some amazing woodlands and prairies. And I think, not only is it important to protect the public land that we have because it's just this amazing space for everyone, but to get out and find those off the beaten path, get out and explore and take someone with you. Because I think the more of us who get out and play in it and love it, the more we can protect it.
Well said.
All right, so we are going to move into our last segment of the show. Let's whiteboard it. In front of you, you have your whiteboard. We love to whiteboard things at the Great Outdoors Foundation.
Great.
I think you're a big whiteboard gal too.
Love
maybe.
it.
So our question for the day is, if you were like something from nature personified, what would it be? So like, would you be I'm going to say it wrong. What is the mussel's name again? It's
Higgins.
Higgins. I was going to say Wiggins. Higgins. Or is there a plant or a flower?
That's such a good question.
Or an animal? What would you be?
I know.
Personified?
It's like deep.
It is. It is.
It doesn't have to be too deep, though.
No, it's all right. Well, yeah, don't overthink it.
Yeah. And you can either draw or write.
Okay.
We've been doing this for a couple months, and my skills have not gotten better.
Me neither.
I am not an artist. Please, everyone from work, don't judge this.
Yeah, you have some harsh critics. Because
do.
you have some great talent at work. Yeah.
My landscape architects and artists really do put me to shame on a pretty regular basis. But that's okay.
We'll have to get them on.
I know. Just make them draw something for you. Truly.
While everyone is wrapping up, don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you are listening. Share this episode with a friend. Donate to Molly's campaign. You can do so at givebutter.com/2025 WPS.
For Wild Prairie Showdown.
And I think that's all. Follow along on social media.
Yeah.
Okay, who would like to go first?
That's a pretty good drawing. You should go
Thank
first.
you. I want to be the pale purple coneflower. It's a prairie plant. We love our prairies in Iowa. It's also good for the pollinators.
Yes.
Deep roots to hold onto that soil. Plus it's purple, and I just love purple. So that's it. That's
Fantastic. That's a great answer. Hannah, how about you?
Mine's a little bit more, I don't know. I'd like to be the wind.
Oh, good one.
That is so...
That's
I
great.
want to go everywhere. I want to see
that.
everything.
That's amazing.
Maybe cause a little commotion on the way.
That's excellent.
Carry the bird.
My hardy earth sign. I'm like, I will hold the soil in place and support the ecosystem.
I used to be
That's
there,
fantastic.
but I'm in a different phase of life.
I'm really happy for you. Be the wind.
Yeah, be the wind.
That's amazing. I feel like both of yours are very I don't know.
Nope. Tell us.
Philosophical. Mine is a toad.
Yes.
Because I love toads. I love frogs. And I think it would just be a great day. Probably because I grew up reading the Frog and Toad books.
Adorable.
That is my dream.
Yeah.
Just going on a bike ride and then eating a bunch of baked goods.
That's so true.
The way that you prefaced that, I thought it was going to be like a sloth.
It basically is. If a sloth was
Frog and Toad adventures are adorable.
they're lovely, and we have lots of frogs and toads in our backyard, and that's my favorite is getting to see them. So Anyway.
Amazing.
Not sure how to segue after that. Thank you so much for listening. Molly, thank you for joining.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll see you again next time.